This is a McLaren P1, the ultimate supercar. Or is it a hypercar? I don't know. It's above my pay grade. Anyways, it's made by the British manufacturer McLaren, who has brought you the following beautiful cars: the $20 million McLaren F1, the 675 LT, and the best looking McLaren of all time, the 720S. All beautiful cars, not the Senna. The Senna is not a good-looking car, and I'm tired of people pretending that it is. So, the P1 was made from 2013 to 2015, making only a few hundred units worldwide. I wanted a P1, so I casually looked at how much they go for, and they sell for about $2 million, which is about $1.99 million out of my range. But someone found a better way. Buying a flooded one. An up-and-coming YouTuber named Tavarish decided he was going to spend, are you sitting down, $575,000 on a flooded P1 that was literally washing away during a hurricane. $575,000 on a car that was salt water flooded. People that repair salt water flooded cars are insane, criminally insane. There isn't a single house in my zip code that costs $575,000. Look it up yourself. Okay, all my cars, plus my house and my parents' houses, don't add up to $575,000. So we started taking the car apart and called this down for some help, removing the main battery pack, and boy, let me tell you, it wasn't good. The battery caught fire in the car, but I'll tell you what, the 400-volt lithium-ion battery caught fire, and you wouldn't have known it actually contained it very well. Kudos to the McLaren engineers. And after working on the car for 14 hours, while I was leaving, Freddie said, hey, I want to give you something for your time. Here's my P1 accessory battery. It's totally dead. This is your payment. When it works, it's worth around $8,000 because there's probably water inside. It's worth as much of a plastic fish tank of a similar size. So the current street value is $29. All right, I'm going to take on the challenge of fixing said battery, which shouldn't be easy, but you know it is easy. Making a website with Squarespace. It's easy to claim a domain or URL like www.575,000 is a lot of money for literally anything.com, or www.whointheirrightmindsbuysafloodedcar.com, and then you can create a custom site that matches your style and enthusiasm. Check out these page templates because they'll make your web page look better than the looks people give you when you tell them you own a $2 million car. Head to www.squarespace.com/richrebuild to save 10% off your purchase of a website or domain using the code in the description box below. Shout out to Squarespace for making platforms for people's passions, no matter what they cost. So I took the challenge. Since I was in Florida anyways, I decided to take it to the most well-equipped person to fix this that I know.
Rich, aren't you the battery guy?
Yeah, well, I figured I'd let you do it. This is your property.
So on my budget McLaren, I've had the battery die, and I've done this trick, and it has worked.
On a lithium battery, really?
Yeah, so if you see right here, this is a lithium charger that I use on my car, and it's got that red exclamation lit up. That means it couldn't detect this battery. Now, we obviously have it unplugged right now, but that's what we got when we had this all plugged together. So what I'm doing is I'm running it in a loop, and then I'm going to try and charge it. And what that will do is kind of just trick the really dead battery, or trick this charger into believing that the really dead battery actually has some charge to it. This works on pretty much all batteries, not just lithium batteries.
Okay.
And I've used this trick a ton to bring back dead auction car batteries. Let's see, plug it back in. We've got one lit up. We just need to wait a few minutes
To see if that red one
and
turns
see
on.
if this fault goes away.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do my best to do a battery test with one hand. Put this straight up so you can see it. What's this registering as? There's nothing in there. This is a pretty much confirmed dead battery. Now, one thing I wanted to show you guys is this battery didn't actually die of water, it died of old age. There's no water traces in this whatsoever. And because it's a sealed bin, the water residue would have at least remained in there. I got to give A123 Systems a lot of credit. That seal that they put around the battery, it did a really good job of keeping water out, considering this battery is on the water for a very long time. If you look on top, there's no water evidence here, but I'll tell you, this cell looks like it's a little bit too puffy. And now I understand why they have these thick aluminum straps, because when one cell starts getting out of control and it wants to burst and press against the other cells, this aluminum strap that goes all the way around the battery is what prevents that from causing a chain reaction. So this is a pretty cool design. And on this side, this is the BMS. These are all the sense wires that go to each battery to report back to the charger to say, hey, this is too much charge, and to prevent overcharging of the battery. Now there's two logic boards in here, one on the top and one over at the side. And what these both do in conjunction to being the BMS, this actually reports back to the car via these pins on the inside to show what the overall health and battery life of the battery is. So on McLaren's, on the main screen, because McLaren understands that the owners might not drive the cars every day, this battery will report back to the main car computer to tell it how many days left worth of reserve that this battery has. So you know whether or not to hook it up to a tender or to drive your car a little bit more often so it charges this 12-volt battery. So this is actually a pretty intelligent system. Not many batteries do this, actually tell the car how much life it has left in it. So let's go ahead and take this thing apart, see what's inside.
Move based upon, like,
Oh, come on.
yeah. So as you go around a corner, they'll bolster you tight. I've been making lead-acid batteries for cars for starting them for years. Why are they gonna be weird?
Yeah, because they want to save weight. Oh, you get 50 pounds off the 30 pounds off the nose.
Sure.
Yeah, but you get a lighter wallet too.
Whoa. One swollen pouch.
That's not bad. 1 battery per hour. Okay, this is the Mclaren P1 battery teardown. So far, I have all the old dead cells out. And what we've realized so far is that this battery didn't die of water. It just died of old age. 2 of the cells were puffed pretty up, and the remaining cells are still good. There's 6 left, and I'm still working on the process of getting the rest of these out. So far, so good. Just peeling these very thin pieces of aluminum off have been kind of challenging. The glue that they use on this is pretty solid. So I'll be peeling these cases off, all 3 sections of it. And after that, we're gonna start compiling the other batteries to kind of squish together to make another pack. Let me see. So this is the temp sensor. It's in the middle of the battery pack. So that tells the BMS if it's getting too hot, and then it cuts off charging. Cool story, bro. Okay, so in this box, we have the new magic cells that we're installing in the McLaren battery. These are all the old pouch cells. They're made by a company called A123 Systems, which is actually local to me. The company went bankrupt, and a Chinese company bought them over. But these are the American version of the cells. So this is a little bit older before the company went bankrupt, but some of these cells, I think the top 3 were the ones that were no longer functional. The remaining cells do work, but what you don't want to do when you do a battery pack like this is you don't want to mix and match old cells with new ones. So we have this new box full of the A123 cells. Actually, if you buy them in bulk, you get a bigger discount. These were literally a couple dollars a piece. They were no problem at all. So because we're experimenting with this, one thing we don't want to do is when we're doing series versus parallel, we don't want any of these to touch when we reverse the polarity. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tape off all of the positives with blue tape. Okay, this is completely hollow. We removed all the components from inside of that battery. And here are the battery cells all lined up. These are the new ones. And on this chart, this is a visual representation of those batteries. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And over here, you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is a 4S7P setup where there's 4 in series and 7 in parallel. Each one of these batteries adds up to 3.2 volts, but doesn't seem like a lot, but it's at 56 amp hours for each one. So after you add all these up, you add up the voltage for all these, and you get about 13 and a half volts at 56 amp hours. Now, if you look at this battery will say it's 58 amp hours right here. Again, this is just a proof of concept. It's 2 amp hours smaller and less capacity than the original battery, but that's okay, because again, I'm just proving something here. I can easily get higher amp hour batteries to give it a little bit more juice, but I want to see if this concept could work in the first place. So maybe that'll be for a version 2 battery. For now, this is going to be 56 amp hours instead of the 58. So now we're going to wire all these up together, connect the BMS, and see if this thing actually works. See, people seem to think that you need all these bus bars. You don't need bus bars. Look at this. You don't need bus bars. Again, I don't recommend doing anything like this. We're just doing this, again, as a proof of concept. This is a proof of concept to see if this can be done. Again, this is a proof of concept. Pop quiz, what is this? A proof of concept. Okay, the next thing we have to do for safety purposes is connect the BMS, is also the temp sensor. Now this temp sensor in the middle right here was put in the middle of all of the packs in the previous setup. So I'm gonna extend those wires, put that in there. And then these are the BMS wires. There were, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before. So I have to put them on the alternating portions of this just so it could read what each pack voltage is. So right now, all the BMS sense wires are installed. The temp sensor in the middle, that's also installed. Again, guys, this is just proof of concept. We're using a lot of electrical tape here. It's not a big deal. This is not a production unit. It's never gonna go to production because it's not gonna go into anyone's car except for maybe Freddie's Mclaren, but if it blows up, I don't really care. Anyway, so I have to knock these 4 tabs out of the bottom because this battery pack will not fit in this without that. Remember, we added more cells to this, so the space constraints are a little bit different. I'm gonna take these 4 tabs out and then test fit the battery. I think it should fit, but even still, it's kind of cutting it a little close. Okay, so these are all the cells I've removed from the Mclaren battery, and some are good and some are bad. I'm testing them right now with the multimeter, and I really can't use these because some of the terminals are a little bit too short. I went a little crazy pulling these apart, so these terminals no longer reach the intended destination. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna send these back in the same plastic tray case that they came from. I'll be sending them back to the recycling facility that recycles batteries, and I'm gonna ship these out using, guess what? ShipStation. It's the fastest, easiest, and most affordable way to manage and ship your orders in just a few clicks. You're managing orders like a professional, printing out discounted shipping labels, and getting your products out fast. ShipStation works with all the major carriers, including USPS, FedEx, UPS, and even international shipping. You can compare and choose the best shipping solution every time, and they even offer big discounts on shipping costs, and you can access the same postage and discounts that are usually reserved for large Fortune 500 companies like Tesla would be if they were recognized with the S&P. And right now, my people can try ShipStation for free for 60 days when you use offer code RichRebuilds for selling whatever it is you're trying to sell. Use it now or after you watch this entire video. Make ship happen. And I made that up. No, but maybe. Thank you, ShipStation, for sponsoring this episode. We're installing the pouches in the casing. So instead of like just kind of dropping it in, I like to do this. It's my special little way of doing it. You're not exerting as much force. And then finally, you tilt. What I had to do on this side was I had to cut these tabs out because they were getting in the way of the battery. But before I connect the actual wiring itself, you close this. BMS connector is on this side. That connects right here. I'll push this down. There you go. I have some more minor trimming to do, but this is actually pretty good in terms of fitment. It's not bad. So everything here is pretty much what came with the Mclaren battery, minus the cells. I know the assembly wasn't ideal. If you look on the inside, it's definitely not a perfect assembly. Hence we're using literally duct tape to put it in. But again, this is just proof of concept. Can these batteries be repaired? Can they be fixed? And they totally can for under $8,000. So we're gonna throw it in the truck and see what it does. Where we at, baby? 13.3. Let's go for it.
I think I have a loose connection, yeah. 13.3, not bad.
All right.
Tell me when.
All right, right now we're gonna crank this over with this regular battery just to see the difference between this one and the lithium ion McLaren battery. All right, hit it.
I think the battery's dead.
Shut up and crank it again, John. Moment of truth is coming up.
I mean, dude, let's see.
Let's throw it in there.
I mean, it doesn't belong in here, but...
Who cares? All right, it's all hooked up. Let's try this. All right, let's see.
All right.
Here goes nothing. I'm gonna stand far back, all right?
Go on, plugs. Oh, God.
Low plugs on.
Go plugs are on.
Okay. This is an $8,000 McLaren battery, by the way. Let's go. Let's do this.
Still on.
Still glow plug still on?
Still on.
Okay. Wow.
Proof of concept.
That was a huge spark here, but that's okay because that's not tight. Let's try it one more time now that I've tightened these down a little bit more with my hands. Go ahead.
Glow plugs.
Go for it. Wow. Perfect. Power of lithium. Perfect. That sounded pretty healthy.
That's why it's $8,000.
That's an $8,000 battery right there. Perfect. Okay, so some time has passed, and I wanted to show you the old design that I made, and here's the new design. This is the old design. There's a couple problems with this. There are more cells in this, but it was a lot cheaper to make. These cells really shouldn't be touching each other. In the event of a thermal event, when this one goes off, it's going to set up a chain reaction, and they're all going to go up. This one is a lot more efficient design. Granted, it also costs a lot more money. Inside this, there are the 20 amp hour cells that were originally in this in the first place. I also was able to very easily get a zip tie steel cable to simulate the previous design, but this is the new battery, and this one costs approximately $250 to about $275 or so to rebuild these. I was able to get these A123 cells at a discount, but you really don't have to spend $1,000 on this battery. You don't have to spend $8,000, $3,000, or even $2,000. You could actually rebuild your own. I will not do it for you, but given what's in this video, it's actually quite simple to do. The only issue that I had with this one slightly was getting the bus bars. I don't have the original bus bars in this, and they're actually really a pain to get off. So we made our own bus bar design for this one. It isn't as thin and as sexy as the old ones, but it still will work, and it actually is able to contain itself in the same packaging. But yeah, this is the old design, and this is the new one. The new one looks OEM, so we're pretty happy about that. And you're probably asking yourself, well, Rich, this one has 7 pins that reports back to the car. How do you know that works? Well, I tested it on my own McLaren. I will see you guys next week.